We're now being joined by Kunle Falowo, a Global Affairs Commentator. He joins us from Indiana, USA, to share his thoughts on the ongoing war in Ukraine. Thanks for joining us.
A pleasure.
Talks on Ukraine dominated the recently held NATO summit in Madrid, with President Biden saying the U.S. will soon announce a new $800 million military aid to Ukraine, bringing the total since he took office to nearly $7 billion. Is the Russia-Ukraine war ending soon?
That's a great question. Unfortunately, as much as we would love an end to the crisis and the war in Russia and Ukraine, unfortunately, this is not that type of war. It's not abating anytime soon. Don't take my word for it. Take it from UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. He had said also during the NATO meetings that Mr. Putin is not interested in having dialogue and negotiations with them, and they're not ready to budge also. So this will unfortunately continue to take center stage because this is a lot of people describes this incident or this war as it's maybe as a proxy war, and this is between not just Ukrainian military personnel or the Ukrainian people or government. It has to do with NATO and the rest of the European bloc. So this, unfortunately, will continue, and we just hope that dialogue prevails in this matter.
With Sweden and Finland joining NATO, how will this reshape the bloc's border with Russia?
Well, it has everything to do with it because, like you said, Sweden and Finland will be officially signing the one of the paperwork or more like a protocol on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, and they wouldn't be ratified by Parliament or the NATO countries until sometimes it takes up to a year for the ratification, but because of the immediacy and the urgency of this matter, there's a more likelihood that there's a likely chance that Finland and Sweden will be ratified very swiftly. I haven't said that it will change the trajectory of the European bloc because there will be more personnel, more military personnel from all the Western allies of NATO. That also means there'll be more guns, more ammunitions, more equipment and mercenaries that will be on hand to deter any aggression from any other country that is waging a war against a NATO country. I also like to mention that according to Article 5 of the NATO Convention says that a crime or a war against one is an aggression against all, meaning that this is not going to end. We're going to have more of crisis in that region if and only if Russia continues to be the aggressor and if they refuse to get back to the conversation table and talk out whatever it is that the aggression or whatever it is that the conversation.
Okay, let's just ask you this one quickly before we wrap things up. Biden says the U.S. is better positioned to lead the world more than ever following the NATO and G7 summits, despite issues at home. How do you react to this?
Well, issues like, in the United States, most recently, we had the abortion right overturned. Roe versus Wade was recently overturned. It's a national issue in here. But nonetheless, there's something called diplomatic issues and foreign issues. And as it has nothing to do with the internal affairs. It is the United States is very competent to run the affairs of its, run its own affairs, and also it's very, very much capable of also interfering and intervening as it's necessary or needed in the international affairs of other countries. We're talking about security of world countries. We're talking about security of the world, and the United States as a very prominent country cannot afford to sit back and fold its arms and let things go in disarray. So yes, they will definitely intervene in this matter.
Thank you very much for speaking with us, Kunle.
A pleasure.